Welcome to Late Nights with the Booze. We're your hosts, Jeff
Leia,
and this is
the Booze Podcast.
Good morning, good evening, good day, everyone. Welcome to our first episode of Late Night with the Booze. And our first topic would cover leaving home, why we moved, and what we learned on
Along
our
the way.
journey. So I think the first in our list, first topic to cover is why we left.
Yeah, why we left the Philippines?
That's the magical question.
Why do people leave the Philippines when their life was okay? For us, we both had good jobs, decent paying jobs, but why would we leave that life to start over again?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Um, well, on a let's sidetrack a little bit. What we normally cover on our episodes would be based on experiences and opinions only. So I hope we don't offend anyone along the way.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer that question, I think what I can remember is that we had a dream, probably I'd say that, and that is to in the future become a dual citizen of New Zealand or Australia. So initially we thought that um, that's our next destination. I think we had several hops, different countries, and reaching to that point. So I think that was the initial reason why we decided to leave Philippines.
Yeah, exactly. And the savings that we had could not cover the amount needed to study in New Zealand. Just that time, that was the norm to study in New Zealand for
the
2
trend.
years. Yeah,
So
not the norm, the trend.
The trend wherein we start somebody or one of the spouses would be working and the other one would be going to school just to be able to legally stay in New Zealand and Australia, or Australia in that matter. And I think basing on our finances back then was quite difficult. I think when we had our immigration lawyer or someone, a consultant, told us it's gonna take $1 million, I think we had to step back and recompute and redecide what's gonna be the next decision, and that was the dream.
Yeah.
It was not an American dream. It was a dream to just travel the world. I think
Yeah, exactly.
experience different culture, different country, and meeting different people.
Yep. So, what's next?
Well, that's for us. Um,
So, where did we go first?
yeah. Well, let's probably. I think there were like two major countries that we stopped. Like mainly, we lived there for a while, trying to blend in or trying to live like a local. So first one was Singapore.
Yeah,
I think.
though all that venture wasn't successful, but it was a great experience
Big
to
learnings.
yeah, it was a great experience to live abroad and just enjoying their culture, how they are, live with the locals, commute with the locals,
Travel young.
yeah. And then in between those 3 months that we stayed there, we get to travel to Vietnam, to Bangkok.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you remember that even before we got married, we were talking about going to Dubai
Yeah, that
because
was the first
of
thing.
your tito.
Yeah, I was offered to that time, or like traveling to Dubai or somewhere in the Middle East with a female who's not married was something not accepted.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And then when he said, "Oh, you're from IT, you have a lot of opportunities here," and I think the reason why we didn't push was, aside from we were young, we're offered higher position in the current.
I think this is what you've discussed with one of my with one of our friends when we were having lunch. I think that was yesterday. We were kind of late in the game going outside the Philippines, but I think the reason for that is because we were too busy creating
Memories,
no
experience.
our growth,
Yeah.
creating our career when we were
Oh
back
yeah, I'd say I'd agree.
in the call center. So we were so busy going up the ladder that we didn't think of going outside the Philippines.
Yeah.
So we were
Like,
kind of late in the game.
it took us, let's say, more than 10 years to decide on moving
Going
forward.
and
And
going out of our comfort zone.
yes, I
Mm-hmm.
think that was it. The
Yeah.
first one was a leap of faith.
Mm-hmm.
um we had we prepared less,
Mm-hmm.
but I think relate as we relate to some of our friends' question was what you're gonna change in the past, that you, if you're able to retest and change the past, what would that be? Even if we had that bad experience, I think we shouldn't be changing it, because where we are right now wouldn't be the same
Yeah.
when
It
it didn't
would
happen.
that our Singapore journey
Turning point.
prepared us to our path going to
Yeah.
Canada.
Since we're talking about why we left, then I think the next would be the challenges of living elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And to all of the OFWs and to all of those Filipinos outside the Philippines,
Mm-hmm.
I think they would attest that it's not easy, no matter how you prepare. It's not just financially that you have to prepare, it's also mentally, physically, and everything else,
Spiritually.
emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
it's a whole
it's a
package.
whole package, and you have to be prepared in all aspects for you to succeed, right?
Yeah, there's series of items that I see, or points that I think would affect, or what are the challenges of living elsewhere. And not everyone would have, uh I would say, the strength, or the resiliency of facing on a different culture, tied it tie it up with um homesickness,
Mm-hmm.
and how to properly be properly and how do you say it, properly and completely connect yourself with your family despite the distance.
Yeah. So for those um who are listening right now and are planning to take the risk, go outside of the Philippines and try their luck, what would be our top three um top three
Preparations.
suggestions or recommendations that they would need to prepare before going or before taking that leap of faith or taking that new adventure?
Well, there we can name a lot, but I think when you talk about top three, for me, it's gonna be preparing yourself on that journey, and that's typically the whole package, not just financially. because you when you travel or when you go outside the Philippines, even within the Philippines, everything entails finances,
Finances.
money. So that's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you have a lot of money to
Mm-hmm.
prepare, aside from that, you'll have to prepare yourself. When you leave, you have to be fully decided. If you're half-hearted, think it over again,
Mm-mm.
because it's not easy. It's not just facing people. You can just go abroad if you want to work. Just go to work, then go home, that kind of thing. But it's you can just ignore the locals. But
Mm-mm.
it's your decision. But it's more of the loneliness. You have to prepare for that, especially if you're very close to your family.
Mm-mm.
Uh, Good thing right now we have social media. We have a lot of platforms to connect
To our
um,
families.
to our families. And let's see,
What's the third?
money for then yourself, and then of course
A
a
lot of
lot of
prayers.
prayers.
That's what I was going to
A
say.
lot of prayers. Nothing beats prayers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just have faith. I mean, you wouldn't know what's in store for you on that journey, and be open minded. I think
Mm-mm.
aside from the prayers and all of that, be open of all the changes in terms of your um, daily routine.
Mm-mm.
It's gonna be a whole lot of mess, especially the first few months
Yeah.
or probably a year.
I think what worked for us the second time around that we tried to do the OFW thing was when we went to Dubai. First, of course, we prepared money financially. Um, so we prepared for a 3 months stay, like that time for 3 months, 50,000 would be enough for
That
one
was back
person. That
then.
was back then. So since there's a two of us, so we prepared 100,000 to be able to stay for 3 months. And then I think what worked was we both had online jobs at the time,
Freelance, yeah.
freelance.
It's
So when we
always
went there, we
cash flow
the
still
cash
come.
flow is still there, even
Yeah,
if we pay
still
the
coming in.
rent,
Yeah,
pay groceries while we wait on getting the opportunity to get hired. There's still cash flow coming in, and we made sure that all our bank accounts are working abroad,
yeah.
so that then we can withdraw
For
that.
emergency
Yeah, we can withdraw
cases,
that money from the
whatever we
Philippines.
saved
Hmm.
for rainy days.
And then also, I think what worked is because we're together on that journey. So
Yeah,
homesickness
would be lesser.
lesser, yeah, because you have your partner with you, you have your husband or your wife with you. And then the third, I think what worked was that time, because we failed our Singapore
Journey.
journey. It made us pray more, if there's such a word, more prayerful, and
I'd say it's an evolved version of faith. More, yeah. So, just a backstory. When we left the Philippines the first time, we went to Singapore, tried
our luck
our
there.
luck there for roughly about 3 months, and we went back. And then after a couple of months again, we decided to try out Dubai. A friend of ours,
Mommy Lisa.
shout out, Mami
Mommy Lisa.
Lisa, shared she was already there and shared that you might wanna try coming here and try your luck. So we did that, and we stayed there for roughly about 7 years, and now we are in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So that journey, it it sounded like easy, but when you
It's
live
not an
abroad,
easy
it's
feat.
not an easy journey. So to your point that we did what we've learned about traveling and um, moving from different places is that um, really have to have a foundation of faith and prayers and a lot of plans, plan A, B, and
Yeah.
C for anything
There
that
should
will
always
happen
be a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C.
until Z if you can for any unexpected uh what do you call that situation that really need to deviate from your original plan.
Mm-hmm.
So at least
Let's talk about the day that we arrived in Dubai. That
oh that
was
was
that
fun
was really an unforgettable
and weird.
moment. So, um, before we went to Dubai, we traveled first with our family in Hong Kong to so that you know, what do you call that? I forgot the term. We wouldn't be
Yeah.
immigration wouldn't be suspicious that we're going to Dubai
It was
for.
the season where people were I mean immigration was very strict on
Mm-hmm,
traveling to Dubai because of what they call human trafficking.
mm-hmm. So we went to Hong Kong first and had a trip with our family, my side of the family, and from on that day that we were supposed to fly to
Cross
Dubai,
country was it?
yeah, cross country, that day that we were supposed to fly to Dubai, our return ticket was
Yeah,
was invalid, so we had to wait um for the 5 p.m. flight.
we called. I mean, we were lucky. We were just using
Messenger, but
Messenger
that,
and a free Wi-Fi from the airport,
yeah,
and
and
knowing the airport, it's gonna
it's
be
so
slow.
weird because Messenger, Facebook Messenger is not working in the UAE. But that time, our contact, Bong, which was a good friend of ours, he was able to answer the call, and we're able to let him know that
For a couple
for
of
a few, oh yeah,
seconds.
that the return ticket that we have was invalid. So then he was able to like find a way to make it to rebook us to the 5 p.m. flight and make everything work with
Yeah,
our return ticket.
it was weird, but again, when things go south, I think we prayed that much, and
Yeah.
then suddenly we had the answer.
And then so when we arrived in Dubai, so we already like arranged for a place to stay. We contacted our friend Leah, which was also our office mate and a good friend of ours. So she helped us stay in one of her friend's apartment. And then, so the next day, um, we didn't have like a room yet, right, or a house
And
to stay in,
like an actual
apartment to
place
stay in.
to stay in for a very long time.
Yeah,
It was a short term
although Leia's friend, she offered for us to stay in
for
her
longer.
apartment, but
We decided not to.
we decided not to because it was the kasi in Dubai it's common for people to have partition rooms, but that apartment had curtains for its partition, so we were not quite comfortable. Um so so then
Fast forward.
fast forward, we went to find a place where we need to stay. We looked at the Sultan um, apartment, and it so happened that the landlady was her mom was from Cagayan de Oro, and
Did she? I
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
know. I
her mom
forgot.
was from Cagayan de Oro, but she
Forgot.
doesn't know how to speak Bisaya, and um, and then we met Ati Jing, which is a good friend of ours now. We met Ati Jing, and then she said, "Oh, she's from Cagayan de Oro as well." So then, okay, and then she gave us a tour of the house, and the one that was available at that time was the maid's room, and I'm quite claustrophobic, so when there was no window, so I didn't like the room that she offered us, but there was one room that has windows in it, from the semi-partitioned rooms, and it was 1,800 dirhams. So that was beyond our budget. So we said no, and then we left. So we were able to visit another apartment which had which was 1,400 dirhams. It was a very small partition, like just double deck, and
Double
then
deck, just enough for one.
just enough for one person to move.
Yeah.
But then when we finally brought our bags with us and we went there, we were not
Uh,
allowed to come in, to
yeah, it
go
was
in,
like a policy or a rule of
because
that building not to ask someone, not
to
ask, yeah, not
not to allow
allow
someone
someone to go inside for that specific room.
apartment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at 3 o'clock p.m., we don't have a place to stay. We packed all our bags and we were sitting outside the Sultan building with all our bags. We called
Yeah,
Mami
like we were just
Liza.
traveling somewhere. It's like we were just kicked out of somewhere.
Yeah. And
Kusang gala, if they would
we
say.
bought like one large and one medium size of luggage and then backpacks. So then um Ate Jing went out of the apartment and saw us, and she said, "Oh, what happened to you guys?" And then we told her that we don't have an apartment to stay. So she
Yeah,
helped us
she
look,
convinced.
yeah, she helped us and with a friend of hers look for an apartment that's available. But then it was already 5 o'clock p.m. and we still couldn't like decide on where to go. We went to
It's
two,
like for the day we don't have a place to
yeah,
stay.
we went for two apartments, and then finally we called Ate, what was her name? The landlady for the
I
Sultan.
forgot.
Yeah, we called Ate and then we asked her if we can get the 1/8 room, and then we'll just pay right now. And she agreed. But supposedly someone was going to
Transfer,
transfer
I
already,
think
but
within the week.
but in Dubai you have to show money first.
I mean, whoever gets to give you the money first takes it.
Yeah,
Winner takes all.
exactly. And yeah, so
So yeah, I
then
think
the
our
rest
first,
was history.
yeah, I think the first day was kind of
Eventful.
eventful.
Uh-huh.
First, when we arrived, when the one wherein you mentioned about Leia, and then with this on day one, of course, since you're new to the country, day one would be just going out and have fun. We
We even
reach,
went to Dubai Mall
yes,
when we
no, that
don't
was MOE,
MOE, and we don't
Mall of the
Mall of
Emirates.
the Emirates, and we don't
So
have an
when we
apartment.
reached there, we
We-
decided we were just roaming around and talking, and then we just realized that we don't have a place to stay, which is funny. So when we
so we went
decided, we
back.
said we don't have a place to stay. Let's go back. And it's 7 dirhams, and if you're new to Dubai, and 7 dirhams is already big, and that's for both of us.
Yeah,
So that's 15
it's each.
dirhams.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were just there probably for an hour or so, and then we decided, oh, let's look for a place to stay, and that's where we, you know, going to a country and nowhere to go is something weird for someone if who planned
But
on
it
going to
all
the
worked
country.
out
Yeah,
anyway.
everything
And the
worked out.
greatest plot twist was Ate Jing is actually
Related, somewhat related to my.
somehow her siblings was godchildren of Jeff's parents.
Yeah,
So they were her
at
parents
some
are
point.
also Batangueños. So I think that's God's way of leading us to the right
Yeah.
path, to you know um leading the way for us.
So
It was
yeah,
all God's plan.
correct. So aside from having those challenges that we mentioned, the learnings, at the end of the day, when you go to a certain country, live there for a while,
Be prepared
be
for all the twists
prepared.
and
Yeah,
turns.
and one thing, I mean, for us on those first two legs of uh two places that we've been through, Singapore and Dubai, we really didn't push through on building a community. We were just like aloof from everyone.
We just have our own
A small
small bubble,
circle, yeah,
small
small
circle.
circle of friends who we can also consider as extended family already because
Mm-hmm.
they treated us as family despite all the, I mean, 7 years been long.
Yeah.
We had our own ups and downs. We've spent a lot of travel,
Mm-hmm.
going through around Dubai, and we have a
Yeah.
lot of places to go there. So
Mm-mm.
probably in the next episodes, we might be mentioning these where we
Mm-hmm.
went when we were there. It's
And
nothing serious though, but it's our
and
experience.
mhm, and we were finally able to get employed with the
Oh yeah,
that's for another
yeah.
episode how we
But I
got
think since
work.
we're talking about challenges on living elsewhere,
Mm-hmm.
just to highlight that it took us months before we got our first job. I mean,
I got
you got it for like two, three
after two
months.
two
I
three
got
no
my
after 2 months
job offer
I got
seven.
the job offer,
Yeah,
and then you after 6 months,
seven. I
seven
got
months.
after 7 months, I got my first job, and that's probably because of connections. We just got lucky, probably, or God's will, with whatever you
I
call it.
think it's
But things
all
happen for a reason, and sometimes if it's His will, it will happen
yeah. I think it's all in
regardless.
God's plan.
Yep.
Whatever happened to us in Dubai, and
And I think at some point you you will only realize that, oh, this is God's plan
mm,
in the end. I mean, you wouldn't be seeing that right at onset or while you're experiencing the ups and downs, and I think you'll get to realize that later on as you try to step back and think of uh, the experiences you had.
so to summarize, or in conclusion of this episode, what have we gained, or what have we learned um, as a person, or what have we yeah, what have you learned and gained?
Gain
we've gained
wisdom.
we've gained a lot of friends.
Yeah, aside from me,
Experiences.
for me, probably weight. I gained weight.
No, we lost weight there. We lost
No,
weight.
we lost weight
No,
in
I think
UAE.
the most the the greatest that we've gained in Dubai is Johan, our baby.
Yeah, going to that serious matter. Yeah, yeah. It's probably for another episode that we'll
Um,
share on how our journey of having our baby after 14 years of
mm,
waiting.
that's for another
Yes,
episode.
for another episode. So to conclude, I think um looking on the serious side, what we've gained aside from, extended family, it's
Mm,
more of deeper faith with God, believing in His plans. Whatever you plan may be just small, and it might change anytime based on what His ultimate plan is. Oh, the sound of the door.
okay.
Didn't expect that. Anyway, so I think yeah, I think we pretty much covered what we've prepared. It may
Mhm,
be long, but it's what the journey that we had.
mhm,
I would say the past 10 years in being an OFW, being outside of the Philippines, why we decided, and what are the significant experiences that we had over time.
let's
And
unpack it for on a different
yeah,
episode, because
so
it would take like
and this is our first time. Things will be a bit messy as expected, but in time it will be more organized, I would assume. So I hope everyone would
stay
continue stay and continue to.
up to the 30 minute.
Yeah, it's been a long discussion already, so
All right.
Yeah, I think so. Anything you'd add for the last few words?
No, that would be it. I think we should have another episode fully devoted to Dubai, our experience, how we got our jobs, how our life is living there.
Yeah, probably. It's 7 years. It's a
Yeah,
lot of things to
unpack.
share with everyone.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, so the basic experience that you'll have um for spending, or not for spending, but being an OFW or being living outside the country. Yeah, the experience itself is great because you get to know how other cultures,
Mm-hmm.
how they do things, as long as you try to ask them though. But ultimately, it is really for you to prepare if you decide to go out. Prepare yourself, the whole package financially, as what I've mentioned, and everything else. So, anything you'd like to add
No,
before we?
that would be it.
All right,
See you guys on the next episode with Late Nights
with
with
the
the
booze.
Booze.